I hope you're having as great a time as I am talking to this woman. She is just amazing and so inspiring. Manila Luzon, you are a genius. I can see your creativity. I can see the way you speak. When you talk to us, and this has been in the last 2 segments of the show, if you missed that, catch that on YouTube. You talk about being shy, you talk about being hesitant, you talk about not really trusting yourself, you talk about all that changing because of drag. And I love that, because to me, drag to you was liberating. Whereas this is a Filipino show, and for many Filipinos, drag is still something that people laugh at. It's butt of jokes. There's a lot of clubs in the Philippines where drags are they're not even laughed with, they're laughed at, right? I've also interviewed someone, a very famous transgender Filipina, and she talked about how when she came out to her family, they said, well, it's okay for you to be gay, but must you really dress like that too? Your thoughts on that?
Well, yes, drag can be funny. It can be funny because it is quite it's kind of absurd. Because
it's out of this world.
Yeah, because what we do when we put on the dresses and whatever, and we emulate these overly exaggerated versions of female. And so when a man is putting on a wig and getting laughs just because of that, that's not okay, because we're not laughing at women. Drag is celebrating women. Drag is finding the power that women have that we as men, we do not, and there's so many attributes that makes a powerful woman that is what inspires us to do this, and we do it grand, and we do this as a celebration, not as a mockery. So,
but that's your intention.
That is our intention, but people do laugh at it because, what society has told us that how women should dress and how we should act is kind of ridiculous. It's ridiculous. We should be respecting women a lot more. So when a man puts on a dress and is acting foolish, pretending he's some woman, and we're pointing and laughing at that, then yeah, it is a reflection on how society is viewing women versus how they view men. But what drag is, it's very different because it's an art form. These are the people that love femininity. We adore it. We want it. We want the most of it. So we exaggerate. And a lot of us we're dudes. We're big old men. So we want to look just as good as these tiny, petite, curvy women. So we'll put on the big padded bras, we'll pad our hips, we'll get corsets, we'll make our hair big so that the bigger the hair, the smaller the shoulders look, that kind of stuff. So it is an exaggeration so that, we can for that moment, feel the power of femininity.
I love that. In what ways is drag similar to or different from being transgender? Like dressing up as a woman, a man dressing up as a woman every day, and a man embracing the feminine side 100% full time.
Okay, well, drag, you have to think of it as a profession, as an art form. Not just men can do drag. Women do drag all the time. You think Lady Gaga is walking around in those heelless shoes and those meat dresses? No, that's drag. Madonna, she's in a rhinestone corset parading around the world. That's drag. She's wearing a wig, right? It's drag. Women can do drag. Trans women can do drag. Men can do drag. Women can do drag as a man. There's so many different versions. It's really basically just kind of a performance. It's fashion. It's dance. It's comedy. It's all these different things that we really find entertaining, and it's kind of channeled through this art form, which is drag. Now, when you're transgender, that's how you identify. That's the gender that you associate with. And that is definitely somewhere on a spectrum. I identify as male, but when I'm in drag, I refer to myself as she. I refer to myself as female. So when I get dressed up, I slide my gender over for the time being, and then it shifts back when I take it off. for a lot of transgender people, it's just in the one spot. It might not be from how they were identified at birth, but they've decided to live their life on the other side. And they do so much work from, they have to fight society from identifying them how they see them from how they were born. That's why a lot of trans people have issues with their family, because they know them from their birth, from how they were originally. So a lot of times when people transition, they have to separate it, because people will still cling on to the original gender identification when they want to be identified as their new gender.
Right, and that's a problem in the Philippines too. I've recently encountered someone as well. She is now identified as a woman, but because her birth certificate still says man, dual citizenship, she can't get Philippine dual citizenship.
I
because
see.
in Philippines, she will still be recognized as a male.
Yeah.
And you don't want that when you've already changed your gender identity, right?
Yeah, I mean, for me, my gender identity isn't as important, but for other people, it's very important of how they identify. Right. You know what I mean? Like for me, my friends call me he, her, she, they, all of the above.
Right.
And for me, because I am more fluid and it changes every day, hour by hour, it doesn't really affect me. My husband will sometimes refer to me as she, and then in the same sentence refer to me as he, and it doesn't really matter. Right. Usually when I'm dressed up in full drag, I prefer to be she, her, but out of drag, I don't really care. That's not important to me. My gender identity isn't as important to me, but I know it is important to other people, and so I choose to respect how people choose to identify.
Yes, yes.
You know what I mean?
Yes, yes.
And honestly, it is a social construct that we've developed over the centuries to kind of help. I mean, human beings, we just want to create order to the chaos, and this is just one way of doing it.
And that's what they say in the Filipino language, right? We don't distinguish between a he or a she.
Yeah, there's
siya, ikaw.
There's no difference in the Filipino languages until the Western influence came, and we kind of were instilled with that. But I think that Filipinos, before the Spanish colonized, they were onto it. They had a better understanding of how people can choose to identify, because it's not really about if you're a man or a woman, if you're a he or a she. It's about you being you, and you understanding and getting to know that person as themselves.
Right. No, I want to bring it back now to drag. I've also spoken to some who say, oh, we've started drag, but it takes so much time, so much effort to do it. I want to do it anymore. I want to simplify my life. I'm gay, but I don't want to do drag anymore. Does it ever come to a point where you oh, this is so tiring? Oh, I don't want to put on makeup today. What? Do you ever? Every
single day, I quit drag. My husband will tell you I will quit drag every day. But I love it so much that I can't do it. I thought maybe one day I'll just stop. But then there's other days I'm I'm going to be a drag queen in a rhinestone wheelchair, and you're just going to have to wheel me out. Right. I don't even care. I will do it as long as I'm still having fun. You know what I mean? And right now it's my career. It's paying my bills. So for now, I'm doing it because it's my job.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, I want to quit my job all the time.
What do you think? Like so many of us. I do
like
too.
Everyone, yes.
Yeah. What is it about drag that's difficult? What are the struggles? What are the sacrifices?
Well, it's not comfortable. I'm wearing a fur hat. I'm sweating under here, even though it's freezing in the studio. It's uncomfortable because I'm corseted. I'm wearing pads. I'm wearing things that are on top of my body that aren't supposed to be there. I have these nails glued to my fingers. These earrings are heavy. It's very, very, not even gonna start about the shoes.
Right, oh my gosh, yes, I'm not even.
It's uncomfortable, so yes, but it's worth the pain. You know, they always say beauty is pain, and I am very beautiful.
Yes, you're fabulous. Now, if you know, you are this conversation to me, and I'm sure to a lot of our viewers also, is very enlightening, right? You're putting a spotlight on like being drag, especially something that for many Filipinos we don't talk about that. You know, sweep it under the rug. But you're talking about it as your form of like. In a way, for me, it's like a liberation for you, right? And if you were to enlighten us even more, educate perhaps, what are the top maybe 3 misconceptions, misnomers about drag that you want to change?
Well, I think we touched on a little bit before. It's like drag is not an identity. You know, this is something that I do, and this is my art form. This is something that I can stop doing whenever I want. So I don't want to be a woman. I don't live my life as a woman. Not that I couldn't live my life as a woman. I just choose not to because I know how difficult women have it in this world.
It is.
So I do like to maintain a little bit of my, you know, male privilege. But yeah, the little misconception is that this is permanent. You know, this is a costume we put on, and this is a job, and this is an art form. The other thing I want to let people know is this is an art form. It's a piece of art.
Yes.
It is a form of entertainment. It is a form of song, dance, fashion, beauty, all of the above. And the other thing I want people to know is that it's political. Because, like I said before, it's challenging our social norms of like how we view the sexes. You know what I mean? One thing that reason why we're called drag queens, and I don't know if this is the reason we're called drag queens or if we just like to think that we're royalty.
You're queens, yeah.
But we're the leaders of our community. You know, like in the States, it was a drag queen, a trans drag queen who threw the first brick at Stonewall, which started the Stonewall riots. And that was a true leader basically saying, no, we've had enough of the police brutality in New York City. We're gonna stand up against them, and people followed. We are the leaders. We share not only, you know, like, you know, a drag queen will perform. You know what? These kids haven't heard this song from the 90s in a while. I'm gonna like introduce them. I'm gonna make this new generation fall in love with some of the classics. Okay, you were gonna listen to Dolly Parton now. Like we're gonna listen to like Whitney Houston. We're gonna like go to the greats. We're going to teach the children about our community through our performance. We're leaders in that way, and you know, we're the forefront. Because we attract a lot of attention.
You do.
We get all glammed up. So people are looking at us. So a lot of us will take upon the responsibility to be the leaders of our community.
It's on your shoulders now to be leaders of the community, to be role models to people who look up to you. What would your advice be to maybe someone out there that's maybe looking into getting into drag, right? Or doing this lifestyle or getting into this as a job?
Well, don't do it unless you have the time and the money. No, go do it. Like, the thing about it is that like, it's something now that like, as drag has become more popular over the years, a lot more people are intrigued by it. And a lot of people that I used to know that were very are now they're interested. Like, what would I look like? How pretty would I be if I put some makeup on? Maybe this Halloween, like me and my buddies will just be fab. We'll be the Spice Girls.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Yes.
Like, it's fun to try. It's fun to play dress up. It has like it harkens back to like theater. Like, not all of us get to be movie stars, but you know, we could if we just like dressed up in a little costume. And it doesn't have to be the kind of drag that I'm doing. Right. Drag can be for anyone. You can have
your own style. That's
your own style.
Right.
Yeah, if you have a beard, you don't want to shave it off because you got to go to work on Monday. Leave it in there. Just throw some glitter in it. You won't get the glitter out, but at least you'll still have the beard.
Put it in a braid.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. And advice, I like that. So don't do it unless you have the time and money to do it.
Yeah. No, actually, you know, do it at any capacity. If you just find some old raggedy wig, throw that on. You'll be surprised. A lot of my drag queen friends, like their first wig was just wrapping a towel around their head and just, you know, pretending. Yeah. Like, it's fun. It's fun to play with makeup. It's fun to accentuate your features. We have all of this around us that we can use and play with. like, why not? You know what I mean?
Why not? Hearing it from the drag den queen herself, executive producer of the highly successful show in the Philippines. We're going to be delving into that when we return on the show. Don't go away.